My homeowners association president tried to fine me $500 for my tacky lawn gnomes, so I legally registered a religious nonprofit to protect them, and now she's facing the consequences. Karen, the president of our homeowners association, runs our neighborhood like her own personal fiefdom. Her weapon of choice? A 3-ring binder of bylaws. My crime, in her eyes, was a collection of 7 small ceramic lawn gnomes that my grandmother painted for me before she passed away. They were my tribute to her, tucked away in a flower bed. To Karen, they were a declaration of war. It started with a note taped to my door about aesthetic harmony. I ignored it. A week later, a certified letter arrived, a $500 fine for unapproved lawn ornamentation. I called her, trying to explain their sentimental value. Rules are rules, David, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. Pay the fine or it doubles next week. After that, we place a lien and involve city code enforcement. That last threat was her biggest mistake. That night, stewing in a potent mix of grief and rage, a ridiculous, beautiful, petty idea began to form. I spent the next month consulting with a civil rights lawyer and diving into nonprofit law. On his advice, I incorporated the Church of the Sacred Gnome as a religious nonprofit with the state. I drafted bylaws, kept minutes from our weekly gnome blessing ceremonies, which a few sympathetic neighbors started attending, and documented everything. The filing receipt from the Secretary of State took 2 months to arrive. In that time, Karen, oblivious, continued her crusade, sending 2 more fine notices, each one adding more weight to my claim of targeted harassment. It all came to a head at the monthly homeowners association meeting. Karen made a beeline for me. "David," she announced to the room, "have you paid your outstanding $1,500 in fines for the gnome situation?" She said gnome like it was something she'd scraped off her shoe. I smiled, stood up, and walked to the front. "Actually, Karen, there's been a development," I said calmly. I placed the nonprofit filing receipt on the projector. As of 2 months ago, my property is the designated assembly for a legally recognized religious organization. Those aren't ornaments. They are sacred icons. I then slid a folder across the table to her. "This is a cease and desist letter from my attorney. He informs the board that your threats to involve the city, government in enforcing private covenants against our religious practice could trigger a federal lawsuit under the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act." He's very excited about it. The color drained from Karen's face. She started sputtering about bylaws, but the homeowners association's own lawyer, a guy on speakerphone, cut her off. His voice was tired. "Karen, be quiet for a minute. His claim is absurd, but that's not the point. The point is, he has a lawyer, a registered nonprofit, and a documented claim of harassment. The cost to defend against a federal RLUIPA lawsuit, even a ridiculous one, would be catastrophic for our budget. We would spend 6 figures on discovery alone." There was a long pause. "The board needs to table this, and I strongly advise you to drop all fines immediately, pending review." The defeat in her eyes was glorious. The next morning, I bought the largest, most majestic gnome I could find, a 4-foot-tall behemoth I named the Great Protector, and placed it in the middle of my front lawn. The fines stopped. The harassment stopped. And the best part? A few of my neighbors have started leaving little offerings at the base of the Great Protector. A shiny rock, a flower, a can of beer. It's a small, quiet rebellion, and Karen has to drive past our holy site every single day.